Good morning. It is March the 31st, 2017. End of the week, end of the month, end of the quarter. This only, when it all lined up on the same day, that doesn't happen all that often. Usually leads to a higher stock market, and treasuries can do what they were doing before we came into this day. Let's start with our disclaimer. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they are designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. Well, here we are. The E-mini at the end of the fourth quarter was 22.34. End of February it was 23.78. The E-mini is going to close well above this number today. So the money managers on a quarter-by-quarter basis will look halfway smart. If we close below 23.78, probably not so smart. So that's where we find the stock market. So the stock market doesn't necessarily have to trade higher today because of the fourth quarter close. Equities around the globe are lower overnight, in spite of the fact that China's manufacturing PMI was the highest it's been in 5 years. The economic news out of Europe was mixed. German retail sales up, French consumer spending down, German unemployment down, Great Britain index of services down, EU inflation well above their inflation targets. So we got a mixed bag out of Europe. Equities collectively, only China's stock market is up overnight. Everybody else's is lower, but not by a heck of a lot. We have news today. Personal income plus 0.4. Personal spending up 0.2. That's good for treasuries, not so good for the stock market. Core PCE plus 0.1. This is Janet Yellen's favorite measure of inflation. Chicago PMI 57. That's a pretty strong number. Shows economic growth. Consumer sentiment 97.6. This one came in, I believe, lower last month than was forecast, but probably will be pretty close to that number. And Baker Hughes rig count was 994, where we lost rigs in Canada and Mexico, and we picked up in the United States at 809. The United States number, U.S. drilling rigs, could be higher. The news focus: personal spending, Chicago PMI, consumer sentiment, and Baker Hughes U.S. rig count. Right now, I think the market is going to try to trade higher because of the stock market. I'm not sure the stock market can sell today, even though it is pointed lower. So 15 to 19, I think we're going to be a little bit higher. We sell 1. 23, 27, sell 2. On the buy side, 5 to 9, and then 29 to 01. Cutting back the rain forecast just to only one day as opposed to Saturday and Sunday. The whole state of Kansas got a pretty good soaking. Won't hurt the wheat crop. 2 more big rains, one in April and one in May of this magnitude, will make the wheat crop. Only takes about 5 rains a year to make a pretty good wheat crop if you have adequate subsoil moisture, and we do. And the rain belt is slowly moving west. It's pretty interesting. When I first came to Wichita, you never saw beans and corn except under irrigation, and now we have beans about 40 miles west of us, pretty much everywhere, and you have corn about 25 miles west of us. So we are getting more moisture in the eastern part of the state. Okay, looking at the bond. 2024 number 1. 2731 cell 1. And we'll make 7 to 11 cell 2. Lot riding on the E-mini. We've got 4 to 8 number 1. 29 to 01 by 1. And we'll make 7 2125 by 2. I think Treasury is going to trade up a little bit, then down to the E-mini. Gold, when I looked at it this morning, was pretty much unchanged. From the close right there, we got a D pattern. We had a 40-42 buy. That looks reasonable still. Buy 1. 35-37 buy 2. We have resistance at 47. We have resistance at 48. Last rotate up on the spill was at 51. So we'll make 48.50 sell 1. 53.55 sell 2. And stops below that low right there. Stops below 40 is where the market is trying to trade. I don't know if they can get it. We had a pretty good bounce off of 40 to 42. Europe is ahead of their inflation targets by a good bit. That's another reason to own gold. Latest on the breakup of the EU, I think that Le Pen, as far as the polls go, and the polls have not been very good for the last year or two on anything of major consequence, have Le Pen behind, but that may not actually be the case. You know, it's really difficult. I mean, for us as traders, betting against the consensus has been the way to go. And what news is for real these days? What is actually factually being reported? When you have the Reuters, BBC, all the major U.S. news work, printing, making up stories as they go along to fit whatever their agenda happens to be. That's what makes a profile so very, very powerful, in my opinion. You don't have to know who and why. You can just see that they are. Sell 1, 25 to 35. Sell 2, 45 to 55. End of the week, we might see some profit taking here if we don't break it. On the buy side, 107, 107.10 buy 1. And 106.75 buy 2. Selling on that second or third day of a rally in the euro has made us money for the last 4 years. Doesn't mean the euro can't rally, but they usually are not sustained. Crude oil. Everybody, the overnight news was talking about how it was above $50. So we're guessing right now on crude oil a 47 minus 52 plus market. And if we put all this together, we're looking at a pretty pronounced P. Fold this in like that. Do this split right there. So we have P's behind us. So 50-50. 50.75, sell 1. 51, 51 and a quarter, sell 2. Everything is pointed higher, so we should at least get, play for stops above yesterday's high. On the buy side, 49.75, 50. That's very aggressive. And then 49.50, 49.25, pretty much where we were yesterday. Okay, the E-mini. Fourth quarter close, 22.34. I'll put those numbers up here. 2234. We're well above that. So on a quarter by quarter basis, nothing has to happen today as far as equities are concerned. February 2378. It would be nice if they closed at that level, right? So that's one trading target. Don't know if we can get there. 22.34, we're well above that. Personal income up 0.4. Personal spending up 0.2. I'd like to see those numbers reversed. Core PCE plus 0.1. Inflation could come in higher than forecast. Chicago PMI 57, that's a pretty good number. All the automobile companies are forecasting lower automobile sales next year. 97.6 for consumer sentiment. Baker Hughes rig count 994 versus 809. This number could be lower and that number could be higher. News focus, personal spending, Chicago PMI, consumer sentiment, and sometimes Baker Hughes plays. Okay, we've got support at 55.57, so 55.57 by 1, 50.52 by 2. The bias on a day like today is to the upside. Resistance, we'll just play for a little bit higher items. So we'll make 64, 66, just leaning against resistance, sell 1, 69.71, sell 2. Play for a trading range market, seller 65 to 70, buyer 50 to 55 as we get started, and we'll adjust on the fly. Okay, we'll take a bit to get everything up in focus. Focus, publish, spread around. I'm going to get busy on that, and I will be back with you as soon as possible.